once we're retired. All right. Or maybe you have Social Security, and you're saying, geez, maybe I should draw from my investments first and then postpone Social Security, or vice versa. And all of this matters. So look, as much as I want to help everybody listening right now, I am going to help the next 5 people who call the phone number I'm about to give. And I know you're busy. You're probably driving and doing all that. But this call now is only going to take a couple minutes. My receptionist is going to take down your name and your number, and they'll set up a time for us to chat later this week on the phone. And again, ages 50 to 75, save $250,000 or more. Call now. Here's the number. It's 610-894-7415. Again, 610-894-7415. And think about it. We're still snowed in here. There's not much to do these days. And if I can get you taken care of with like a half-hour phone call, to get to know your situation. All right. And this is what my receptionist will schedule that for us, a half-hour phone call for later this week or next week. Then I present the financial plan to you. It takes me about an hour to do that. And I do that the week after we have our half-hour phone call. And look, you don't even have to leave the house. Or you can come see me in Radnor if you want to come make the drive and check out my office. Absolutely. But the objective here is, let's make future years around tax season more pleasant. All right, let's be able to look back a few years from now and say to ourselves, geez, I'm really glad I took at least some steps towards helping my tax situation back in early March of 2026 when I heard that Jim Cipriati talking about this stuff. All right, and these things are essential because the place that's handling our retirement accounts now, or our current financial advisors or our current CPAs, they're a lot of times not helping us with this particular little pocket of our finances here, which is a big important one. Some advisors, they're just helping with investments, and then they give you 1 or 2 little sentences when they talk about tax stuff. That's not enough. All right. The question is not about building up your accounts. It's about how much of that balance are you actually going to keep? So again, the number to call now, and I'll help you out with this. We want to get more of that balance kept in your pockets. So the next 5 callers, as we wrap up the show here, Chris, the number to call, 610-894-7415.
To have questions about your retirement, why not get some of them answered? Not going to cost you anything but your time. Could be some invaluable time as it pertains to your overall retirement. Again, 610-894-7415. Be one of the next 5 callers. You can always go to the website, set up a time there as well. That is retirereadyfg.com. Want to thank you, as always, for joining us here on Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriati, powered by the Retire Ready Financial Group. Hope you have a great week ahead of you. Stay warm if you can. Take care of one another out there. Jim, appreciate the time as always. As we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with the final word.
You got it, Chris. Always love to remind our listeners how important it is to get that second opinion, especially around tax season. We're seeing what it could look like if we just keep repeating the same thing year after year. We got to get some other strategies in place to make future tax seasons a little bit easier on our wallet and our checkbook. So everyone stay safe, stay warm. See you next time.
If you have questions or concerns about reaching your retirement goals, then give Retire Ready Financial Group a call, 610-894-7415, or visit online at retirereadyfg.com.
Investment advice offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, Pennsylvania registered investment advisor, able to provide investment advice in states where it is registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness.
This program is paid for by Retire Ready Financial Group. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Retire Ready Financial Group or their guests and do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey. Today's program is pre-recorded.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Barry Siebel and Friends on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Well, good morning. Yeah, you have tuned into the Barry Siebel Show with Friends. As always, grateful to you for joining me on this Sunday morning. And yes, I am streaming live on YouTube. Call-in numbers 855-839-1210 You don't have to make yourself a stranger. If you want to talk, I'm going to be here for the next hour. And by the way, I am bumped next Sunday for sports, and I will not be here with you. Unless they fire me, I will be here the following Sunday. By the way, my friend Tom Azelby, who is part of the weekend crew, who I endorse Saturday mornings 8 to 9. He's a must listen to. Well, by now we all know about what's going on in the Middle East, the invasion of Iran. I send kudos to President Trump and his cabinet, led by Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and others, on these international affairs. We all, and I mean all, absolutely need to pray for the safety of our troops. I, Uncle Barry, wholeheartedly endorse what actions are taking place. Obviously, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about that, and then I want to go on to other affairs. But frankly, I could do a whole show on this current war. But I'm going to leave one listen to the professionals on stations like Fox News. And yesterday, like most, I was riveted watching TV. And honestly, I couldn't take my eyes off of the people that were on the air, the guests, from so many people such as generals and officials who partake in all of our government occupations, and so many experts on the economy and what's going on in the world. And I really realized how much we don't know what's going on. We really don't. And it kind of like threw me off yesterday, because when you come on the air, and I prepare all week to come on, there could be 5,000 or 7,500 people listening on a Sunday morning, and I appreciate you. But frankly, I want to be able to relate things to you that you might not know during your busy week. You're busy with your family and your work and your kids. So you might tune in on a Sunday morning to get an idea of what's going on. But I have to tell you something. Yesterday was a revelation for me. And I really realized how much we need to rely on the experts to tell us what's going on. Why do I say that? Is because to me, Donald Trump is like the Roy Hobbs in The Natural. He tells you what he's going to do, and then he goes and he does it. And I keep saying on the air, this is a big chess game that's being played, and he knows how to play it. And I know in my heart, and we're seeing the results, and we'll talk about it in a minute, of what he is actually doing and actually accomplishing for the realignment of what this globe needs to have done. And he's doing it. So before I go on, let me finish where I was. But rather than spend a ton of time on the war, because you should tune into the news and tune into a Fox News or a Newsmax or someone like that and look and see what the experts are saying, because they know, as I say, what's happening. But eventually in the show today, I want to get back to what's happening in America, and I'm going to leave him and his associates handle international affairs. So let me start out by saying that this week there was a big happening, and obviously you had the State of the Union address, and I want to give you some of my takeaways and my opinions. And I just want to tell you one other thing before I do. When I leave the studio on a Sunday, I go home, and maybe the rest of the day I'll take off, but Monday I start preparing for a show. And it takes me a lot of time because there's a lot of interesting things that I find that are happening in a short period of time. And the next thing I know, by Tuesday and Wednesday or Thursday, whatever I wrote and put together is outdated. It's nuts. It's not easy to do radio. I thought being in business was difficult. Nothing compared to this. Having said that, I want to go back to something that happened on Tuesday. And we all know that about the State of the Address, the Union State of the Address. And our president, to me, that day was so presidential. He and his family displayed a touch of class that represents this country at its highest form. Secondly, his State of Union address was so well crafted and delivered. He was on point. He was not repetitive. He was direct. His comparison to those that have lost their lives, respect to the angel families, and how your eyes could not water up, just would bewilder me. Something to be revered, and the awards given to those, especially that gentleman or two gentlemen that received the honors, the Purple Heart or whatever it may be, 100 years old. These were true Americans, and we should be proud of them. Furthermore, the effort to make sure that the men's hockey team was there was so impressive to me. This was an expression of respect. It was a well-deserved effort. And I'll ask right away, where were the ladies? Don't tell me you're studying. Don't tell me you have other things and other commitments. I don't want to hear that. The boys got there. Obviously, they are more viewed than the women. But to me, it was so disrespectful that they didn't show up. And you should feel that way too. Ladies, I don't know what you're thinking. The liberal today just behooves me to say those type of people are, and those type of women are ruining America today. Sorry to have to say that. Nobody loves women more than me. Nobody. But there's a time and a place for everything. And to not show up that day, even if you were the coach, somebody should have showed up on the behalf of women. And I just thought that that was not cool. Secondly, no different than the two radical Muslims yelling and screaming during our president's presentation. That was third world antics. Hope those that endorse and support those two women, as well as the women on the hockey team, well, let me stop. You could draw your own conclusions. I just think that that kind of antics makes us as a country look foolish. But you failed. And elegance and love for our nation that night prevailed. Yes, I am proud to be an American. And some of my takeaways from what President Trump has passionately and with all of his efforts given to this country in the last year. Let me just go through a few. Lower inflation, reduced energy costs, close the borders, solving of major conflicts in the globe. Now, the other day I heard someone said, well, he pledged during his campaign that he wasn't going to be in wars. Well, what a stupid comment to make. Of course he doesn't want to be in wars. Neither do we. Things happen and occur. As an example, a friend of mine called me December 25th. She said to me, I'm going to live in my house forever. The next day I get a call. You're not going to believe it. I had a fire in my house. My house burned down. Well, now she can't live in that house, or it has to be rebuilt. Isn't that the same thing in world events today? We don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next, do we? So we have to become normalized and realize that things are occurring and evolving. So prescription drugs, if I may continue, that's an important issue that we all talk about. The economy, it takes time. It took 4 years to put us in this position. What do you expect in 1 year for things to be corrected? I don't think so. The fact that night that 73 Democrats chose not to show up spoke volumes to us, to me, a classless act. We elected you. You work for us. It's your responsibility to be there. Whether you like what he says or doesn't like what he says, it's you. Your obligation is to be there that night. and they didn't show up. And I watched the faces, and I viewed the stoic faces haunting of guilt from a lot of the Democrats that were there. But more than that, the examples of evil and ugliness and bitterness. I know you witnessed the same thing. How could you not? Kurt, can we pull up a clip? Can we pull up clip 4 so I could take a breather for a minute?
The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Every Republican stood up, not the Democrats. They sat silently. This is the first responsibility of a government of a nation, to protect its citizens. Why in the world would Democrats refuse to stand for such a statement? Yep. Such a basic understanding of what the role of government is in our lives, what our founding fathers fought for. Revolutionary War. Here we are 250 years into the United States, and the Democrats in the Senate and the House and the chamber last night don't believe that that's the responsibility of government, the number one first duty, to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. That is delusional on the part of the Democrats.
Yep. That's enough, Kurt. To me, how can you not feel that way? Every American should feel that way. They couldn't even stand up and applaud. When the president mentioned God, religion, and the American way, nobody applauded on the left side for that either. This is a lack of display of compassion and the values of all Americans. We weren't raised that way, and I don't like what I see. How can they live within their own skins and sleep at night? The difference of two administrations, I only hope all clearly viewed that night. I don't care who you are and what side. And you saw good from evil. It could not have been any clearer. And lastly, when the president stated government's first duty is to protect Americans, he asked everyone again, stand. And they didn't do that. I don't know. I don't really know. I ask you, how do we become unified? When I listened to President Biden make his acceptance speech, he said to all of us, I'm here to unify. Is that what happened? Where are we today? How do you suggest that we all get on the same page? I ask of you that. I ask, as Donald Trump or someone of his ilk would say, don't judge me by my choices when you don't understand my reasons. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I'll see you on the other side.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
Each spring, cherry blossoms mark a fleeting moment of beauty and renewal. For a few short weeks, petals fill the air and the season feels brand new. Inspired by nature's beauty, the Cherry Blossom Martini at P.F. Chang's captures that first taste of spring. Bright, floral, and delicately sweet. It pairs perfectly with the butternut squash dumplings. Take in something beautiful together and savor the flavor in full bloom at P.F. Chang's. See more seasonal specials at pfchangs.com. Must be 21 and over. Please drink responsibly.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Retirement. Exciting, but also kind of scary. How do you create that paycheck to do everything you want to do? Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeedy. I am back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Of course, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. A little strong this morning, but I'm not done. As I've been chanting for the longest time, to me, America has dramatically been transformed in a spiral downward manner. The State of the Union address this past week clearly delineated that we have major differences in values and opinions. I continue to say the fabric of America has morphed into something unrecognizable. And you know what I mean, 75 million people who voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and you're still voting left? Obviously, not much of the listeners on this particular station, because it's a conservative station. But I just want us to realize that the other side, look what they did in voting in New York. Look at the mess they have with this guy, New Jersey and Virginia. Unbelievable with the influx of so many foreigners. I don't see resolve to these issues. I'm sorry. So many people living here with diverse cultures who choose not to assimilate and who are draining and changing our economy. Let's be honest and listen to this. Society is just, changed by institutions, broad systems, or apparatus that govern how we live. These institutions are informed by shared norms and values and represent an implicit mutual agreement amongst members of a society that thinks we are run one way or another. Obviously, the operation of these institutions, citizenship, policing, housing, and education are the core, each of which defines social existence as the same essential to success. Before I talk about those four things, I just want to mention some examples of how, to me, our social skills in this country are changing. I have to give you an example of a few things that happened to me this week, and I just shook my head. The other day, I had a yen for a rare roast beef sandwich. So I went into a favorite supermarket, and I didn't see the sandwich that I liked, and I said, look, can somebody make me a sandwich? Guy says to me, well, the woman that makes sandwiches is on break. She won't be back for like an hour or so, or 45 minutes. There were 5 or 6 people working behind the counter. Not one person could make a sandwich? My God, I do it all day long myself. I just shook my head and said, you got to be kidding. What is happening to our country? It was never like this before. Another example, I go in to get medication, and I see the gate coming down, and maybe someone will know where I was. so I won't say much more than that. And they said to me, listen, Mr. Sable, your medication's not going to be ready for another 15 or 20 minutes. I said, but the gate is coming down. What's going on with that? And there was 5 people working behind the counter. She said, well, we take off for like 45 minutes. I said, well, I just drove a half hour to get here. And I went, she said, well, we're not ready yet. You're going to have to come back in 45 minutes. I said to myself, there's 2 people that could go take a break and then come back. And then there's 3 people that could go take a break. Why do you have to close? None of this makes any sense to me. And then we talk about DEI. I mean, I heard on Dom's show this week, he was talking to some of the people in Philadelphia where there's officers that are having problems. I then listened, honestly, to the walkout in schools. That bothered me. I mean, why are our kids walking out in protest? Why? Who's teaching them these things? It doesn't make any sense to me. Kids are having trouble grading and doing well in school, and now we have walkouts? I don't know. I just shake my head, and I just count my blessings. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he said to me, you know, I don't see the value of this war. I mean, the Americans should not be in this war. And I've come to the realization, honestly, that we're not informed. We are a society that is just not informed. And I say to myself, damn, I mean, how do we understand what's happening here and support our government and its efforts? And I thought started to go through my mind this week. As an example, you'll laugh at this. Prison is a perfect place for some liberals if you think about it. Everyone is equal, free food and housing, no guns, universal health care, same-sex relationships. Is that what we've become? Can you imagine being so stupid that you go out and protest against having a safer country? I don't know. Another one here for you. Here is all that I want. Borders closed, language is English, culture, Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, drug-free mandatory screening before welfare, no freebies for non-citizens, also a balanced budget, tax reform, and term limits for Congress and senators. Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so. I also say, don't come into this country and ask for the American dream if you're not willing to obey the American laws and embrace the American culture. One last thing. In person, voting with ID. The only voting that we should have here is people that realize we're not suppressing people from voting. Everybody has IDs. If you get on a bus, you get on a plane, you go get medication. You need to supply ID. I don't want to hear that we are suppressing the dead voters and the fake voters and then lawful voters. We're not suppressing any of that stuff. So get over it. The left didn't care about the cocaine in Biden's White House, but they are outraged that Kash Patel chugged a beer in the locker room with the gold medal U.S. hockey team the other day. I don't know. Kurt, let's take an early break. Hopefully I have a guest calling in and we'll have something to talk about in regards to the war. I want to get back to that. We'll see you on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Barry Sable Show.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com. For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply help for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started Or Health. Or Health provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text EASY to 71888. You'll be sent a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text EASY to 71888. That's EASY to 71888.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I do have a guest coming. It looks like he's going to be running a little late. So why don't I play some clips that I picked up this week and that I want to play. I want to start with clip 1, Kirk. Joey Jones of Fox News. I don't think I or anybody else could say it better. Could we pull up that clip?
Guess they're terrorists too?
Yeah, I don't know. These people are disgusting. They make me absolutely sick. I love this country so much and everyone in it that I'd absolutely die for it. And I gave my best shot and I just came a little bit short, or I would have. So, my apologies there. But others did. This is an amazing country. When Ilhan Omar, who came here from Somalia, when she has the opportunity to take to the bully pulpit, the first thing she should do is praise this country for what it's done for her, for the opportunity it's given her. Not necessarily that she's earned. None of us earned it, no matter how we got here. The generations before us earned it. The men and women who have fought and died to create this country, the men and women who fought and died to make it a superpower when we were standing in the government cheese line just trying to get through World War II, those are the people that earned it. We take advantage of it no matter how we get here. Boo Who? You were born in a bad circumstance. I was born in a 1966 single wide. I'm sorry, but you don't have to be from another country to know what a struggle is. And you should love this country with everything in you if you get the opportunity, not just to be here, but to be a leader, one of only 435 who get to decide what our laws are and how we run and how we're governed. And Rashida Tlaib, who loves to talk shit about this country, and she's a Palestinian American. She could be in a pile of rubble right now. She could be living, apparently starving, if you listen to everyone that is against Israel in this fight. She could be right in the middle of it. but she's not. She's an American. She was born in Detroit, Michigan. This person that calls herself a Guatemalan, I don't know much about Guatemala, but I know Central America and South America have been a mess for a long time, and people struggle to get here. Be freaking thankful that you get the opportunity to call yourself an American, because there is barely a greater honor when it comes to the country you call home in this world. If you have a problem with our immigration law, do your job and fix it.
Yeah. Kurt, I appreciate that. That's how I feel. We should all feel that way. If you are an American, you have to endorse America. And that's not happening. And I don't really understand how we're allowing these people to get elected and be effective in our country. I mean, to me, it's disgraceful. And I don't understand how everybody can feel the same. This country right now is, to me, so divided, for God's sakes. I mean, and I don't want to hear the F word out of any politician's mouths. I don't want to hear that. There's a lot of young people that look up to politicians and people that are making rules and regulations for our country. I mean, I just don't want to see this kind of temperament anymore. I'm sure you have to feel the same way. What happened to the class and the elegance of America? Kurt, let's pull up another clip. You pick a clip and let me respond.
On
What do you
April
have for me?
22nd, 2024,
Okay. Senator
you
Kennedy.
said there are some members of the Supreme Court that are evil.
Listen to this.
Will she be able to control its potential future distortion by her evil colleagues? Probably not.
Which justices were you talking about?
Listen to this.
I'll take it your word, Senator. I don't recall using that word, but
All right, here's what you said. You were talking about the majority opinion in Muldrow v. City of St. Louis. You said, quote, Justice Kagan, will she be able to control the opinion's future distortion by her evil colleagues?
Wow.
Probably not, end quote. Who were you talking about?
sir, I'm very skeptical. If it's a transcription, it was probably a transcription error. I do not think I said
No, you said it.
by her evil colleagues.
Why don't you own up to it? Which you call some of the members of the Supreme Court evil. Now, which ones do you think are evil?
I would have to refresh my recollection. I've been very critical of some members of the
that
Supreme
you made
Court.
that statement, aren't you?
Yeah, I heard enough, Kurt. Why I played this clip is because these are people that are being interviewed, whether it be in a Senate committee meeting or something of that nature. And honest to God, how do we have people that are teaching? This young lady was Ms. Professor Shaw, and she's in universities teaching our kids. And she's making statements like that. I mean, I have to tell you something. I'm thinking about moving. And I spoke to someone in a real estate agency the other day, young lady, from what I understand, she's about 28 years old. And I mentioned the address there, and I just told her, I said, what do you think about that? She said, Trump is just lies after lies after lies. I didn't say a word. I just look and I shake my head as I always do and say, who is teaching our youth of today? Who is teaching people to dislike America? I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm concerned about our education system, and I'm hoping that within the next 2 years, once we're done globally, that we're going to come back and concentrate on what's happening in America today. Because I think we need a whole reformation and change, because we are failing, and we are failing miserably. There are so many people that just are anti-American. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And so many people, the other day, Kash Patel, he's in the locker room and he's having a beer. And people had problems with him having a beer, celebrating. It didn't make any sense to me. We've seen Obama and Clinton and everybody in the locker room. So what? Why are we talking about stuff like that? And as I say, another comment that I heard this week, someone said that Donald Trump yesterday was wearing a hat. He was unpresidential. That's the only thing that you could think about? Another person said to me, they can't believe what's going on with the Epstein files, and they're disappointed that that isn't being endorsed more and the facts coming out. At this crucial time, do we really have to worry about that? Is that paramount? Of course it's important, but we don't hold anybody accountable for anything anyway. What's the difference? You break the law, you're not held accountable. All these people are left back out on the street after committing heinous crimes, and now we're going to disrupt the world. You're going to find out these Epstein files are very interesting. And as you're seeing, there is a lot of people that are resigning from high, powerful positions. I mean, let's be honest with each other. It exists. It happened. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein hung himself? No way, Jose. Believe me, the noose that they found, his neck had blood on his neck, but there was no blood on the noose. And then all of a sudden, there was not visual for being taped at that particular moment. That went blank for a while. Listen, we have so much nonsense going on in this country. I hope that once we kind of align our global affairs for the next 2 years, as I say, we could come back and start to be concerned more of what's going on in the four corners of our country. Kurt, give me another clip. I don't care what clip you play. Just give me another one.
Laws were changed in the last 12 months that made it so that we went from the most open border in American history, hundreds of thousands of people coming to this country illegally every month, to virtually zero. What laws did we pass? I want you to give credit to Congress for acting to pass these incredible laws that resulted in this decrease.
No laws were passed, sir. Nothing new.
Wait, what? No laws were passed?
No new laws were passed.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here passing judgment on your team who actually enforced the laws of the United States of America to not allow people to enter our country legally to regain our sovereignty? Do your agents find sometimes that they're living in an upside down world?
I won't speak for the agents. They're not here, but I do.
Yeah.
It's pretty outrageous, right?
All right, this was an oversight hearing by a Senator Bernie Moreno, and he was questioning somebody from ICE. None of the laws have changed. I mean, it's really incredible why we just can't follow the laws that are on the books. Why? I mean, just look what happened. And I know I'm all over the board today. I have to be all over the board because so many of these things pass through my head at a moment. And I say to myself, wow, do you remember when the Supreme Court said to Joe Biden, you're not allowed to pay for the funding of college kids and return the money? That came down as a Supreme Court ruling. He did it anyway. He did it anyway. So everybody that's asking for rules, we have to go back and ask Congress. No, the President of the United States does not have to ask Congress for permission to go and invade Iran. No, it doesn't. Go look and find out. Do a little bit of homework, and you will see that he does not. What he is doing is the right thing. Hopefully, I will have a guest that calls in, and I have questions to ask about Israel to him. Yes, I wanted to ask some other things. I wanted to talk about the SAVE Act, and I wanted to talk about what happened at the Supreme Court ruling. But to me, essentially, what happened yesterday is paramount. Kurt, let's take an early break just in case we get a call. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio, 1210 WPHT. See you on the other side.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra tell the story of Philly sports through comedy and music at the Keswick Theater, Saturday, April 18th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Philadelphia homeowners, protect your investment with custom storage from Closet Factory. From design through installation, everything is handled in-house, ensuring consistent quality from start to finish. Call 215-461-4013 for your free design consultation. Closet Factory. Smart storage done right.
Picking out an engagement ring can be terrifying. You're searching for the ring, but have no idea where to start. Go to Family & Company Jewelers in Marlton. The team, especially JR, makes it easy. No pressure, just real help from someone who cares. They break down diamonds, styles, and what actually matters. Their selection is huge. Every shape, size, and price range. You leave confident, not overwhelmed. When it comes to finding the ring, there's only one place to go. Family & Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Let's be honest. The hearing aid industry is broken. Overpriced clinics, pushy appointments, bills of $5,000 or more. That's the trap they hope you fall into. Don't let it happen. Audion Hearing is the escape. Their FDA-registered hearing aids cost just a fraction of the big brands, starting at only $98. Instead of paying as much as $5,000 plus all the doctor appointments and wasted time, you get what you need with no prescriptions, no office visits, no time wasted, and no crazy price tag. Call 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR. Audion's cutting-edge devices are rechargeable, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. Try them risk-free for 45 days with lifetime support and real human help just a phone call away. Over 1 million people have already said yes to Audion Hearing. Join them. Don't let them take advantage of you. Break free from the trap. Call now 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR for a very special offer. 800-700-HEAR or 800-700-4327.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Kirk Cordless on the other side. Congressman Jefferson Van Drew, a lifelong advocate for South Jersey. Jeff, for short, is delivering results for veterans, seniors, consumers, and children. Good morning, sir, and thank you for calling Uncle Barry this morning, Jeff.
My pleasure, Barry. Good to be with you.
Listen, I had planned so much this week, and the next thing you know, we're at war. I wanted to talk to you about the tariffs. I wanted to talk to you about the SAVE Act. I wanted to talk to you about how you guys are playing in a sandbox where everybody's throwing sand in each other's face. I would be remiss if I asked those. I have to go right to what happened yesterday. Can you give us an analysis of what's your thoughts is happening and where we stand with this war?
Well, first of all, nobody likes to see violent confrontation. Nobody likes war. And as you know, there have been 3 confirmed U.S. soldiers that have died.
Yes.
And this is a difficult time. However, it was necessary. You must understand here that Iran was moving full force and using everything and doing everything they could to develop a nuclear arsenal.
Yes.
An arsenal that would be complete with ballistic missiles, an arsenal that would be capable ultimately of striking the United States, of striking Europe and the free world, an arsenal that would be dangerous and that they would not hesitate to use. Understanding the Iranian mindset, they are not, they don't tick the same way that we do. They don't think, well, gee, we don't want to do this. We just want to protect ourselves. They are aggressors. Mm-hmm. They have killed hundreds of thousands of their own men and women. And I could give you a list of the atrocities that they've done. And by the way, that's why it always interests me when my Democratic colleagues on the left defend them, because the Iranians punish and hurt those many women. Women are not free over there. Women are not able to really survive, much less to thrive. Not only women, but, again, my friends on the left are always worried about, xenophobia. They're always worried about gays and other folks that they believe that are hurting the United States of America. My God, look what they do to them in this country of Iran. So I don't understand where those on the left are coming from. Do we want to needlessly and haphazardly get involved? Of course not, but that's not what we did. This was very methodically planned out. The purpose of it, is not only to make a better situation in Iran, which is a nice byproduct, but the most important purpose of it, Barry, is to ensure that America and Americans are safe. We can't wait until we're struck with a nuclear weapon or there's a nuclear explosion somewhere. They are the main exporters of terrorism throughout the world and are capable of doing anything. And if anybody believes that they are not capable of trying to eventually develop a nuclear device, get it into this country, and explode it in a population center, well, they're naive and they're dead wrong.
Yep.
So this is serious business. And the president's known and Congress knows, and then I will stop here in a second, but we all know the dire consequences if we don't deal with this. And, shame on those folks on the left. I understand you want more information. That's good. Everything was done the right way. Congress was informed. Presidents have done things like this for the good and the well-being of America. Barack Obama did. Ronald Reagan did.
Yes.
Jack Kennedy did. I mean, Republicans and Democrats alike. So that's my analysis at this point.
Congressman, I have to ask you, to be honest with you, the leaks that take place, whether it be in Congress or the Senate or wherever else may be, I think that a president has to react the way that he did, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, because to be honest with you, for the safety of our troops over there, he has to do what he has to do in a timely manner. What they did with Maduro, to me, was unbelievable. What they did in bombing Iran originally was unbelievable. And frankly, I believe in this guy wholeheartedly, and I say it on this show all the time. I trust this guy. He is a master of getting things done. And it's funny because we all think we know something. The guys that are in the trenches like yourself, they know everything. And to me this morning, I read something, and I'll get your response in a minute, of what is happening actually with energy when you took Maduro and you are changing the scenery of Venezuela and now doing the same in Iran. I think this is beginning to cripple China and Russia. Your thoughts on that?
Well, China and Russia depend on these guys
That's right.
for their energy. I mean, this is multifaceted. This is hurting China and Russia. It is making America safer. It is truthfully making the world safer. It is stopping the flow of drugs you went into Maduro and Venezuela into the United States of America. I mean, I don't get, my folks, my friends on the left, what are they thinking? They were poisoning, they were killing our babies, our children. This god-awful fentanyl they were bringing in. We've reduced the amount coming in. These weren't, I have to tell you, and I don't want to sound partisan today, but I just can't help it a little bit. I just don't understand this new modern Democratic Party. They defend murderers, not victims. They defend illegal criminals, not American citizens. And they defend those that would deal, and I don't know what else to say, but to say what I see and hear in Congress, those that would spread drugs throughout the United States and kill our children and our family, destroy our families. And, let me say what you said about Congress too, Barry. You are so intuitively correct. To be honest with you, there are some numbers of members in Congress that you have to wonder about giving confidential information to them because they are about as reliable as an 8th grade grammar school class going to their school dance. I mean, the minute they hear anything, they're tweeting it. I mean, I know literally my grandson, who's 10 years old, would be more responsible if I said to him, Robbie, this is really important. You can't tell anybody because people would get hurt. He would understand that. We have members of Congress that don't. I mean, they're tweeting everything, anything to get some attention. Doesn't matter what. So Do I understand why the military sometimes has to work with the president rapidly, efficiently, and in a focused way? Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you a question, not to interrupt. Can we change the word friends on the other side? Can we put in a substitute for that word? Because I have to tell you the truth. I don't know how you guys play nicely. And as I wanted to say, I mean, I envision you guys in the sandbox, and all day long, everybody's throwing sand in each other's face. To me, it doesn't work. I don't understand. Is Congress actually doing its job? Because all we heard from the left, the press secretary, Little Jean, would say to us, well, Congress isn't doing their job. They have to act on the border and this and that. This was all caca nonsense. This guy comes into office, meaning President Trump, and in 1 week, the border's closed. So what are we supposed to think as the public? What's going on in Congress? Can you get anything accomplished with the mentality that you're talking about of the people on the other side?
Well, first of all, you're just on the border real quickly. It was literally Biden didn't want to do it. That was the answer. They wanted all these people, and including the criminals. But Trump gets in, and it wasn't even. I mean, you're right. It's a couple of weeks we had it all straightened out, but literally within hours it was better. Hours it stopped. In fact, the bad guys knew they didn't line up anymore. They stayed the hell where they were because they knew it wasn't going to be the same anymore. The sheriff was in town,
Yes.
Secondly, and that saddens me. Barry, you know me a little bit.
Yes.
I like to work with people. I like to make things happen, but I will not tolerate anti-American people behavior, which is what's going on now. It is god awful. I'll tell you what I won't do. As chairman of my subcommittee on oversight, Jasmine Crockett is my ranking member. You have one from the majority, you're the chairman, and then the minority is the ranking member. She's the ranking member on the committee. But we still treat each other civilly. That I do, even though I disagree with every single thing she says. And we have some good arguments and hefty debates. But when I first opened the committee up, when we started at the beginning of the session, I know Jasmine had been into some near physical altercations with some members.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's try to do this a little bit better. So I don't do the personal stuff. I will not speak about how you look, your stature, your whatever, anything personal. But damn it, when it comes to the policies that there's new Democratic parties, not an American party.
No. Well, let me ask you a question. You mentioned look, and you piqued my interest. Every time I see you, you are dapper. You're wearing a great suit, a great tie, a great shirt, a great pair of shoes. What I want to know is, do you go to sleep in that dress, and do you wake up and shower in that dress? Because you have to be the most dapper person in Congress.
Well, you're being too kind.
No, you look great, Jeff. All the
I don't know if I'm the most dapper person in Congress, but you know what? You have to wear these things every day.
Yep.
Almost always you wear a suit. Once in a while, I get a break, and I'll still wear the suit because I keep going, Barry. I very seldom take time off, so I do once in a while. I'll go out to dinner with my wife, or where I will go to see my son. And my son lives in Florida, and we'll go to Florida and spend a little bit of time there and get a little bit of sun, relax. But I'm on the job at least 15 hours a day, by and large, 7 days a week. This is not a regular job. You don't go to Congress, and some people do, if you want to just, work 7-8 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. Don't do it, because then you're not doing the job. You got to be on. You got to be ready to go 7 days a week.
Yeah, and I know you're working hard.
So with all that, I like to have fun, and I like to wear suits that are a little bit of fun.
Well, it's a serious job at a serious time. Let me just ask you, we're only going to have a little bit of time left, another minute and a half. Tell me what you guys are working on in Congress today that has piqued your interest in the things that we should be knowing. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time today, and hopefully, I know you're in demand all over the place. I know you've been on 1210 WPHT, and as a member of the family, I appreciate you contributing. Tell me, in your mind, what's going on in Congress today that we should know about?
Well, and the one you do know about, and you mentioned the SAVE Act. I'll make it simple. I'll make it quick. I would hope, other than the Democrats in leadership, they don't agree with this. But if you are voting in an American election, I believe that you should be an American.
Yes.
I think most people believe that, not the Democrats in control. So we want to get that done. I really hope and pray that we get that done. On top of that, we have a lot of other issues that we need to get done. With a one-vote majority, it is not easy.
I know.
But I'm hoping that we do. We have some of the fiscal issues. We have some other things. One of the things I'm working on, maybe we'll talk about sometime in the future,
Yes.
Which is totally different from this. It's a health issue. It's called alpha-gal, and it's a new disease people on the East Coast can get, and especially in a lot of our towns, because we got some towns which have a lot of ticks, and this is a tick-borne disease, and people can't eat anything that's the product of a mammal anymore. And I'm working on legislation that should have been done in the last session, but because we're so bogged down in bureaucracy and quite frankly not getting along to even get good things done. See, if I think something's good, I'll vote for it.
Congressman,
but in any event, I want to get that done too. Plus a lot of other things.
Yep. Unfortunately, I'm out
soon.
of time. I hear the music. Is the music playing? I want to thank you for calling in. I know your schedule is busy. I know you are tied up with this war and everything else, but I want you to know how much Barry Sable appreciates you spending time with me this morning.
You're welcome, Barry. I wish you the very best.
You
Take
too,
care.
my friend. Listen, Congressman, life is short. Stop worrying so much. Have fun. Be grateful. Be yourself. Don't allow others to bring you down. Life is a one-time offer. Life, live it to the fullest. Delaware Valley, thanks for being there for me this morning. I know I was all over the board, but I had so much to say. Listen, I want to thank you for listening on Sunday mornings to me. Have a great week, a healthy week, a safe week. And I will not see you next weekend, but I will see you the weekend after. Thanks for always being there, Delaware Valley. I, Uncle Barry.
Hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter